What's going on, guys? It's Hunter. Today I'm here to talk a little bit about paid advertising and what your optimal advertising budget should look like. Now, I get this question so often that I thought I would just sit and make a video for you guys, break down what we personally use for our own companies as well as what I think you should be using for your company as an agency provider of paid media. So I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about how much you should be spending in general before I break down how that budget should look like. So at a base rule, you should be spending 10 to 30% of your top line revenue on paid amplification. Okay, my ideal spend for my personal owned companies is 25%. We even do a lot of budgeting and back-end margin work with our accountants and financial advisors to be able to increase that number. But as a general rule of thumb, 10 to 30% of the revenue that you make gross should be going back into paid advertising. It's going to allow you to scale your business. This is the way that business works in 2019, and if you want to stay relevant, you need to be putting your message and your brand out in front of your customers. Now, a lot of people come to me and they're like, well, I tried Facebook or Google ads or YouTube ads for a month and it didn't work, and maybe I spent $500. I hear this so much, and the reality is that when you're spending on these platforms, a lot of what you're doing is buying data, and that takes time to get enough data for those systems to profitably generate a return month over month. You gotta have seasoned pixels, good tracking integrations. The data aggregation needs to be correct, and you need to continue to buy data, buy assets, buy more information about your avatar customer. On average, you should really wait 6 to 9 months before you are expecting to see results. It really depends on how much you're spending. If you're spending $10,000 to $100,000 a month, you're going to get data a lot faster versus if you're spending $1,000 a month. But the thing is that you need to spend consistently to get results. Like I said, I've seen so many times that people will spend for a month and then they quit and they are like, this platform doesn't work for me. But the reality is you just didn't give it enough time and enough juice. So what I recommend to do is to set a budget for the entire year. Get 12 months of whatever your revenue was from last year and spread that 10 to 30% across the 12-month period and spend every single day. Like I said, 6 to 9 months, you'll begin to see what the results will be, and you can have a better idea of what platforms and what audiences are working best for you. So on to the next thing is going to be the 3 pillars of revenue. Now, these are the 3 types of attention that you should be spending that 10 to 30% on. I'm going to break these down for you guys so that you understand them a little bit better, but this really applies to all the platforms that not only we use for our own companies, but the platforms that are available for you guys to buy attention on, whether that's Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. It's all the same type of concept, so you can really break it down between the platforms. The first one that you should be spending on is your unaware audiences. These are people that have never seen you before. You're trying to go out and acquire your avatar customer, spread awareness about what you're doing, what your product or service is. And secondly, obviously, a lot of people are aware that they need to put their message out there, but a lot of people overlook the fact that to get results on these platforms, you need to retarget people. So we consider those to be aware audiences. These are people that have seen your ad before. They may have clicked on it, they may have engaged with it, they may have not, but continuing to show that ad to them is going to build a relationship with them. On average, it takes 7 to 26 impressions for somebody to actually become a converter. Now, that's a huge amount. So if you can imagine that the bulk majority of what it takes to convert something is really retargeting, and you skip that factor like many people do, your results are going to be extremely skewed from what they could be. Now, the third pillar of revenue is loyalty. These are people that are already your customer, people that you can continue to deliver ads to and get that customer to make a repeat transaction. Now, this isn't going to be every business. I'm aware that some businesses are one-off, but if you run an e-commerce business, if you have multiple courses that you're selling, if you have anything that a customer could come back to buy, you really need to be spending on those placements as well, because it's going to have a better return than both of the first two audiences combined. You don't need to spend as much money here, but it also is going to generate you the best result, not only in the short term, but also the long term. So I'm going to go back and forth a little bit in this segment with my personal ads manager for Facebook and Instagram, but I'm going to go over the budget breakdown by pillar. So obviously we talked about the unaware audiences. 50 to 70% of your budget should be spent on unaware audiences. Now, there's two different categories that I break this down into, specifically for Facebook. I'm going to just hop over to the ads manager here and show you guys, I'm sure a lot of you that have run ads have seen this campaign builder section. There's all kinds of different pieces of attention that you can buy and purchase. Obviously, if you're trying to make money with the platforms, you want to be running conversion campaigns. But the thing that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is that there are different types of attention on these platforms. You have the people that are the scrollers. They'll go through the feed, they won't click or interact with anything. They're just browsing. You're just going to serve them impressions. There's the people that are clickers, that actually click and engage with content. They comment, they like, maybe they share. And then you have the third type, which is the converters. Facebook, Instagram, and all of the other advertising platforms know who on their platform is most likely to actually put money into somebody's business via an advertisement. So they segment this out. So if you're just focused on, building brand awareness, you're not necessarily going to generate conversions. But if you're focused on conversions, you may also be missing a segment of the available attention that you didn't otherwise or won't otherwise hit. So the reason that, if we go back to presentation here, I say that you should spend 10% on reach is because there is that small audience that you can hit for a cheaper dollar amount that does have somewhat of a chance to become a converter, but you don't want to concentrate your budget there. Obviously, the goal with ads is to generate a return. So you should be spending the other 40 to 60% on conversion campaigns that actually have a set goal in mind, whether that's an add to cart, it's a lead, or if it's the bulk best data you can get, a purchase. You should be running those type of campaigns for your unaware audiences. So secondly, you should be spending 10 to 30% on your aware audiences or retargeting. You should only set this for conversions. It's really a good practice to set the bulk budget of your campaigns inside your ad manager to the same goal. I'm not going to get in too much to narrow AI and what that really means. I'll probably make another video talking about it, but the more that you can make your campaigns have the same goals, the better your system is going to function. So don't have too many different types of campaigns running. The third budget breakdown that we're going to talk about is loyalty. And really, like I said, you don't have to spend as much on this because it's going to be a smaller audience. They're people that have already bought from you. So you can spend about 10% on this audience. I usually break it down to 5% on catalog sales. That is a dynamic option in Facebook that you can position your products in front of the customers who have already engaged with those products, and you can also suggest new products to them. So that is also another segment of attention that Facebook has, and so it is a newer feature, so you do get a little bit cheaper placement with that option. The other half, or 5%, of the loyalty campaign should be spent on conversions. Again, same goals across all the conversion campaigns to make sure that your ad manager is functioning as efficiently as it possibly can. and then you obviously have a little bit into catalog and reach sales. So the other huge question that people ask me all the time is that, if I'm going to be spending 10 to 30% of my revenue on ads, what can I actually expect back as a realistic return on ad spend for what we're putting into these platforms? Now, the average agency ROAS, or return on ad spend, in the last year is 2.87x. So for every dollar that you put in, you're going to get $2.87 back. Usually that happens pretty quickly within a 7 to 30 day conversion window. This is a number that I feel comfortable with hitting no matter what the industry is, no matter what the product is, as long as you got a good company, good brand, and customers that have proven your model. This is something that is very conservative and you should be able to hit with no problem. If you're not hitting that number, you are doing something drastically wrong in another area of your business, and you need to discover what that is and fix that before you go further with running campaigns. Now again, 6 to 9 months before you can expect to have a return like that. But if you look at a lot of the other areas where you could invest in your business, getting a 2.87x return month after month, week after week on your ad spend, when you're spending 10 to 30%, that's a great return for any business. Now, at my agency, we do sell high-ticket items, so we have achieved a 20x across all of our clientele, including our own companies. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertising now and have returned millions of dollars to my clients. That is, again, based on high-ticket items, so it is a lot higher than most agencies are able to achieve. Again, there's a lot of factors to your return. Maybe your branding is off, you didn't have a good piece of content that people resonated with, you hit the wrong audience. There's so many factors that come into what you can expect back from your advertising. Again, aim for that 2.87. That's an industry standard that is very conservative that you should be able to achieve. Now, the thing that I would recommend is if you are hitting that number, something you can do to boost your return on ad spend is to use a welcome series. Platforms like MailChimp, Klaviyo, Autopilot. Having a series of emails set up to automatically go out to your clientele as you're spending on the front end of ads is just going to make you that much more profitable and allow you to spend more on your front end. Now, if you do have something like this in place, you should be aiming for every dollar you spend in a platform to get about $3 to $10 back, so 3 to 10x. Welcome series emails, I can't stress how important these are to have when you're trying to grow and scale with paid advertising, because the reality is that you're competing with everybody else that has access and is advertising on the platforms. So if you have the edge where you can spend more money to acquire a customer, you will be able to outbid your customers more frequently on the front end and generate a longer term but higher return on your back end. So that's all I got for today, guys. I'm wishing you the best of success. If you like this video, make me some suggestions in the comments. Put a share on this. Send me a direct message. I'd be happy to talk about what I know in the world of advertising, give you guys some tips and tricks. And if you want to check me out on any other social platform, the links are right here. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Peace.